an AI agent on Microsoft, on LinkedIn. So I have created already a flow that I want to test, and I want to show you how it basically works. It's just a couple of actions, but it's just going to automate a simple task that I have. I receive a few requests for training every day on LinkedIn, and I would like to automate the response to this training. So pretty much it's always the same response that I write. Hey, if you are really interested in the training, here's my calendar. Why don't you take a look and tell me what you think about it. So I build an automation that is doing exactly that. So what is it doing? It's going to the submit proposal, it's going to our proposals, it is typing in whatever we want to write, and after that it is sending the proposal. So it is repeating the same actions, and again, as I said in the beginning of this video, we could have achieved this same steps using a different tool like Operator from ChatGPT or Claude Computer Use or other free automation agent software. However, they are not as easy to use, they're not cheap at all, they're not quick to set up like this, and they're not efficient as this. So right here we can see that we are pretty much automating the entire process of what I was going to do manually. Now to do this manually, it would have taken me half an hour. It took me 10 minutes to build this automation. So what are we going to be doing is we're going to be building this same automation. I don't think many people have the need of building this automation. However, we're going to do something more fun. We are going to message to different contacts on LinkedIn. What does that mean? We're going to be messaging different contacts from our network and sending them automated messages for outreach. Now, there is different software that does this. It is pretty expensive. To this software, it's around $70 to $100 a month. There might be other software for cheaper. I've used software that costs $70 to $100. Well, I've never used it. I've always used this kind of solution. However, my colleagues in other companies have often used this paid solution until they have seen how easy it is to build a solution that does exactly that using a tool like Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. Let's leave it to answer to another couple of proposals because this is really great. It's taking away quite a bit of work for me. So now every time that I get a couple of proposals, or if I ever accumulate a backlog of proposals like this, I can use AI to automatically respond and reply to all of this. You can call this an agent, you can call this an automation, you can call this whatever you would like. However, it is the direction where technology is going, meaning that right now the aim of technology is to have us spend least possible amount of time in front of the computer and use this AI advancements to do the things that we used to do in front of the computer, allowing us to do other kinds of things. Now it is up to you to fill out that gap of what are those other kinds of things that remain for humans to work on. Anyways, as this is working, let's see if we have some questions. So feel free to ask for if you have any questions or if you want to share anything, feel free to ask in the chat. As I'm going, I will be logging in once in a while to see what is going on in the chat and answer any potential questions that people might have. All right, so let's see if this is still working. I think it is finished. It has sent 10 requests. We stopped at loop index 11. It has worked successfully. A really basic automation that basically just sends a message. Now, let's do something else. But before we do that something else, let's go to Microsoft Power Automate Desktop and let's create a new flow. We're going to be starting from scratch, but again, let's take one step back and just take a moment to absorb the new interface from Microsoft Power Automate Desktop. Now, if you're on the latest version of Microsoft Power Automate Desktop, your menu is going to be right here. So this is the major change that they have implemented. They have moved the menu to right here instead of being a top menu with buttons. So now you will find your flows, examples, and the home button. On the home button, all of the same things have remained the same with useful links, tutorials, and so forth. So if you want to kind of deepen your knowledge a little bit in Microsoft and get some free rewards and certificates, feel free to do these trainings. They are pretty useful. Back to us, we are going to be creating a LinkedIn messaging bot. LinkedIn messages. So this is a great tool for creating leads and getting business done, connecting to people on LinkedIn, selling your service, looking for a job, or pretty much anything that you would like to use LinkedIn for. And keep in mind that as we do this for LinkedIn, we can do it for any social media platform or any other platform. In addition to that, we can pretty much do any kind of automation that we want with this tool because it is very, very flexible. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. So here we have our live stream, and by the way, thank you everybody for watching. And again, without you, the channel would not be where it is. We're going for 10,000 followers. I am super happy. I cannot believe that people are into automation and that this channel would, being so niche on automation and Power Automate, would ever reach such heights. So thank you so much. Thank you for your support, for your likes, for following the channel. I hope to bring you more great content like this. All right, with that little publicity intermission, let's go to LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, what are we going to do? We are going to connect to people. So the easiest way to connect to people is, from my research, is, for example, to search for what we want. So for example, I want to connect to people in generative AI and send a message and just start networking with them. So the easiest way to do it is to search for generative AI, go to people, click on second connections, because second connections are the ones that we can connect to. We also have a couple of messages, not sure why that is, doesn't really matter. What we are going to do is we're going to be clicking on the connect button with all of the people in our second network, and then we're going to go to page number 2, page number 3, page number 4, and so on. All right, this is going to be extremely easy to do, so we're going to start by taking this link right here. One useful advice for anybody starting with automation is don't try to automate everything, meaning don't start from LinkedIn then trying to automate typing in generative AI here, navigating to this menu, navigating the click. I think you get the idea. Try to get to the point where try to make your automation as light as possible with as little steps as possible. This is going to allow you to debug it quickly, to have it work more successfully, because it's going to have less actions and therefore less potential for failure. All right, so let's go back to our empty flow. And what is going to be the first thing that we do? This is where we are going to be building our automations. Now we can build our automation by dragging and dropping things like browser automation. And let's launch a Microsoft Edge and let's add our initial URL here. Now we could do it like that, or we could also do it by clicking on the record button and then clicking on the different buttons or actions that we want to do. Like this, we will create a skeleton for our automation, but most likely it will fail. It will not work as expected. So let's add some text in this text area. And hey, nice to meet you. We're just going to be sending this text to people. And let's click on the send button. So that's pretty much it. That's our automation. Let's click on done for right now. And let's see what it has created. It has created a couple of steps for us. Let's delete the comments that were created at the end. And let's see what this all code means. So let's click on the first action. And as we can see, there is no code. It's just some boxes that we have to configure. Each one of these is a configuration for this action. So this is supposed to launch a new browser, Microsoft Edge. So how can we launch this browser? So we can launch it from the computer, we can attach it to a running instance, or launch a new instance. We're going to launch a new instance, meaning a new browser. We're not going to use the browser that is already open, and click on save. So let's try out let's try this automation and see if it works, if it's gonna connect to any people, if we have to do any fixing, because if it already works, I mean, we're done, right? LinkedIn also, I don't think it's going to work. It might work, but well, yeah, it is not working because LinkedIn has made it so to make it very hard for automations to work on their pages. However, we're going to make it really simple for automations to work on their page. Now, what do we see here? We see an error. This is the most frequent error that you might see when creating this automation element with this selector not found. So when we created all of this, click on a web page, send keys in the text box, click on another button, we added and created some UI elements. You see, there's the button, here is the add note, here is the text area, here is the send. We connected these, created these connections with these buttons. So if we click in these connections, we can see that there's some HTML that was created that connects Microsoft Power Automate with that web page. Now, if we go down right here in the last element here, we can see that it is trying to match it using this ID right here. Now, this ID, I already know, it's dynamic and it changes every time that we open the page. So we cannot have it here because next time we open the page is going to be a different number right here. So we're just going to remove it, and it is going to, I already know that it is going to work. Now, like this, it is going to find multiple connect buttons, but it will click on the first. So we don't really care. We don't really care about that. We're going to do the same actions to pretty much everything else, and launch our automation and see if it works again. So I'm clicking inside of all of the selectors and removing this Ember ID. Let's launch our automation and see if it works again. And by the way, again, let's see if this is going to work. By the way, again, if you have any questions, doubts, please drop them down in the chat and I'll try to answer them. So again, we have not been able to find this connect. There is more connect buttons, so this is supposed to be the page. Let's see what happens. All right, let's close a couple of these pages. And it cannot connect, it cannot find this button. Now, let's see why that might be. Let's close this DJI Marketplace. Let's close this. We can close this as well. We don't need it right now. Let's try launching it again, following it step by step and seeing what is the issue. We're going to debug it step by step together and understand what we can do, how to resolve different issues and stuff. So, all right, it has worked. So I think there is probably just a little bit of a delay issue. So everything seems to be working pretty nice. Now my hands were here. We're gonna run this test one more time. Let's just add a close browser in the end so that we don't keep on stacking up browsers. And let's remove the last one that we created. And let's run our automation again. Again, my hands are up here. I'm not going to be clicking anything, except I want to make it see it full screen, but doesn't matter. Let's just see it like this. It found the connect button. Is it going to find the add note? It found the add note. My hands are still up here. Hey, nice to meet you. And it sent the answer. All right. Well, that seems to work kind of fine. What we should do actually to make this work a little bit better and also not to look like a bot in the eyes of LinkedIn, because each one of these actions is recorded. Now, if we do them too quickly, it is going to trigger some alarms and is going to get us blocked because we're not supposed to send automated messages for whatever reason that is. So to do that, to add human kind of interactivity, we're just going to add some weights. So these weights are just going to make the bot wait between different things like 2 seconds. So let's just control copy and add this throughout our flow. All right, that's great. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 seconds of delay between each connection. All right, so what is left for us to do? Two things are left for us to do: to click on multiple connect buttons and then to be able to change the page. So let's click on multiple connect buttons. So if we go to connect if we go to loop and we take a loop and we drag and drop it, a loop is going to allow us to repeat an action multiple number of times. And we're going to go to 1, so these actions are going to be repeated 10 times, I believe. We should repeat the same actions 10 times. So let's see if this works. I'm also going to maximize the window and let's play this automation and see if it works. So what it should do right now, it should send a message to multiple people, not just one person. My hands are again here. We are already getting some replies. Let's remove this. I think I messed up the automation by clicking on it. So let's just stop it and start again. So let's try one more time. All right. And as you saw, I already received a reply to one of the messages that I've sent. So here we have second level connections, add a note to Francesco. All right, it waits 2 seconds before. We could also maybe use the write with AI functionality, but I don't think everybody has that enabled. All right, so let's see if it's gonna find the next one. It has been able to find the next one. Let's see if it's going to click on the add note functionality. So this is pretty much like an AI agent. So operator, $200 from OpenAI. It is not still able to perform this successfully, and the waiting time between each interaction is extremely slow. So yes, I mean, doesn't really matter. You can set it to do things, but also it might start acting on its own and start breaking and start doing other things, while this automation, it is not going to stop breaking. It is going to perform the actions that you want. And also in this, we can add AI to create an AI message to the person based on are we done? Okay, so what happens next? So all right, so the cycle continues. It tries to do more. However, it doesn't find anybody else on this page. So what do we have to do? We have to exit from this loop. That's one way of managing it. So if we get this error that it cannot find any more connect buttons on this page, we want to go to the next page or exit this loop. So to do that, we are going to click on label and we are going to add this label right here. So we're going to call it exit, and we're going to exit the loop. So if we can't find any more connect buttons, we're going to go straight out here, close the browser and consider it mission complete. So let's go right here. So if we have an issue right here, we're going to click on error. We're going to click on continue flow run, and then instead of throwing an error or going to the next action, we're going to go to a label, and we're going to click on the label exit that we have created. So after that, our automation is going to exit here and close our browser. Let's give it a try and see what happens. It is good to test our automations every time we add a step, just to make sure, first of all, that everything that we have added is still stable, is still working. And all right, so here we have, all right, a new person appeared in this list. So these people are randomly given by LinkedIn. So so they want to make it hard for you to export kind of this information. So every time it's randomized. Now let's see if there's more people to connect to here. So in theory, if it doesn't find anything, let's see. Now this was the last person. All right, it exited and it closed the browser. Great, but we don't want it to do that. What we want it to do is, let's add a breakpoint right here. Let's stop our automation here. Let's just have it open the browser. What we want it to do is actually to click on the next button. Well, we could actually do this in many different ways. We could, once we can't find any more connect buttons right here, we can click on the next button right here. Now, once we click on the next button right here, we have a bunch of connect buttons that we can connect to. That's great, but we also notice that the link has changed from page 2, page 1 to page 3. Now, if I add 3 right here, we can see that the page is going to change again. What does that mean? That means that I can either like work with a link and change the pages here, or I can click on this next button. We are going to do what is quicker and what is easier. We're just going to click on the next button right here. So let's add this action, and we are going to add it the manual way. What does it mean, the manual way? So far we created this automation by recording. Now we are going to use one of these actions from right here. Go to browser automation, go to web form filling. No, we're gonna click link on web page. So all the way down here, before the exit, after the exit, well, it's going to exit the loop, and we're gonna click on next. Okay, that sounds correct. We're gonna try it out and see if it's actually going to work. So let's try to find this button right here, control and click on it. We're gonna create a selector that is going to allow Power Automate to work with this. So let's click on save, and that should click on next, and then we're gonna have the browser closed. We don't want the browser closed, we wanna repeat these actions again. So let's do something like another loop. We're gonna add another loop here. We're gonna do it maybe for 5 pages, or start at 0, go to 5, increment by 1. So let's see how is this going to work. All right, let's run through our process. So we're gonna launch that page that we've seen. We're gonna get into the first loop. Nothing is gonna happen. We're gonna be in the first loop, 1 out of 5. Then we're gonna be in the second loop. We're gonna click on connect and do our shenanigans as we seen previously. Now, if we cannot find the connect button, what is gonna happen? We added a on error here option that is going to allow us to exit right here. Once we go right here, we're going to try to click on next, and then we are going to repeat the loop. In theory, it sounds correct. Let's fix this next button, and let's try our automation. Let's close the previously open window. Let's run this, and let's see if it happens. So from what I remember, on the first page, we shouldn't be able to find any connections, maybe just one. We connected to everybody already on the first page. So it didn't find anything. So I guess it should connect to the next button. What is going on? We can hover our mouse over here. All right, it was not able to find the next button. So why was it not able to find the next button? So I think it's because it hasn't been loaded in here. So if I refresh this page, it cannot find this button right here. Maybe we can fix this simply by going in the advanced option, not sending a physical click, and just clicking on save. Let's try this one more time. So by disabling the send on physical click, it is not going to try to simulate as if a user is doing, because many applications try to act or try to with JavaScript try to check different things when a user interacts with the browser differently than when a bot interacts with the values inside of the code of the browser. I don't think this has worked again. So this is not working because we do not see the next button, I think. So it is not in frame, so we can solve this in different ways. Let's remove what we did. Oh no, I mean, it's fine, we can leave what we did previously. Let's try a simple fix just to make sure that what I'm talking about is correct. We are going to zoom out of the page and have everything on the page, so it is going to be able to see it for sure. Now if that is the issue, it is going to work now, and if that is not the issue, it is not going to work, and we'll try something else like scrolling down on the page or trying to click on it in a different way. So here we don't have any connection requests, so it's going to go into the error and is going to look for the next button. So is it able to find it? Yes, it was able to find it. That is amazing. So it was an issue of not being able to see it on the LinkedIn page. The LinkedIn page has some special code that doesn't load the bottom of the page and doesn't make it available immediately. So this is a quick fix. Another way of doing it would be of doing, oh, here we have an issue, kind of an issue. Can't really send. Let's see if the automation is going to break, and we're going to try to mitigate for this kind of exception as well. Okay, I think our automation has broken right here. That's great. So right here it broke. Add page on note. It gave us this. It gave us this option right here. Okay, so let's do another really easy fix for this as well, and then we're going to leave that automation to do what it was doing. By the way, let me check if anybody has. Yo, Eric, what's up? Thank you for watching. Any solutions to launch Get Microsoft Power Automate on Mac without any emulator? Yeah, that is a super good question. Unfortunately, as the word says it, it is only a Microsoft technology. Mac hasn't really invested a lot in software. They make great hardware. They also make great software. However, they have been a little bit stagnant, in my opinion, lately. In terms of productivity software like Microsoft does, because Microsoft creates software for pretty much all companies. So yeah, so there you have it. That's why they have this tool as well. All right, so let's try to solve for this issue right here. So once we click on not follow, once we click on connect, no, where was it? On the second page, I believe. Once we click on connect, we had an issue. I can't find that connection anymore, so I will not be able to check if it's correct or not. However, we are going to solve the issue because we know that it is right here, the problem. So we click on connect, then we want to, what is this? Send control keys. I don't think we need this. That was created by our automation and I just didn't remove it. So the add note, so if the add note fails, what we want to do is actually we want to go until the end of here and look for a new connect button. Simplest thing that we can do. So let's add another label and we're going to add it here and we're going to skip to connect next. So we're going to add this right here. So if this fails, we're going to go to advanced, on error actually, continue flow run, go to label and then skip on next. And just in case that it continues kind of with the automation, we're going to add the same to the other actions as well. So it's just going to take us a couple of seconds to set up and it's going to make our automation quite bulletproof, so it is going to work. Now an automation like this can cost you $70 a month and you don't have the flexibility that you have right here. Plus, it can cost you in the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of hiring somebody that does this service of outreach for you. So yeah, it is really, really useful. Let's try it out and see if our automation is complete. It's working, and we created a agent that does outreach for us. Our agent is still a little bit silly stupid because it's sending the same message to everybody. Who cares? Right now we could improve this message, but this is just a get to know you message. We could improve this with AI by scraping the information from the profile, passing it to the AI and asking to, okay, here we go. Let's see if this is going to work. It kind of added the text, and then, all right. Yeah, okay, so that our solution didn't really work because we actually have to close this and just move on to the next person. So let's try to stop our automation right here. So if we cannot find the add note, let's launch our browser again. Having a hard time seeing with this. I think it was on the second page. And it was this connection right here. Okay, great. So what do we have to do? If we get into this kind of connection, we have to, I guess, click on this and then continue our connect journey. However, I also guess that our connect journey is not going to work because we might have to click on the same connect button. But let's see how we can resolve this. So we arrive here, and then we have this issue right here. So instead of adding this skip label, we are going to add a new subflow. So a new subflow, this subflow is going to manage that exception that we saw right now. So let's go to subflows. Let's stop our automation and create a new subflow, and we're going to call it what happens if I add just a random email? Okay. I could potentially just add a random email and just get rid of that connection, because who cares about that connection? So now we have to actually find somebody else that has that in their settings. Can we remove this, withdraw, and we cannot connect anymore. God damn it. Okay. No biggie. Let's see our automation now. What is going to happen now that we have made something a little bit fishy inside of our automation? Meaning, is our automation going to get stuck on that connect button or no? Is it going to try to click on that connect button until eternity? So here there is no connect buttons. We should be able to click on next. Is it working? We have the breakpoint, so let's continue this. Alright, so it finds no connect buttons. It should click on the next. Now it clicks on this. Okay, alright, so this apparently reappears again. Alright, so we have it. Let's try to solve for this issue. Up. Yeah, it is going a little bit crazy. We have to stop it. Okay. All right. So what we have to do? This is not our flow. This is our flow right here. Okay, so once we click on connect, if we cannot click on add node, we're going to go to a new subflow. So this new subflow, we're gonna call it add an email, and we're just gonna insert an email inside of that connection, and I guess we're just gonna move on. So let's see it in the browser. So it is this one right here. No, it's not this one right here. Let's launch our browser and see the right link. Add the breakpoint. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to understand how to automate that part in the easiest way possible, because if we add too many actions, it is going to be hard for us to debug and manage that solution. So we said, if we click on this and we continue, or we can just add an email and continue. Let's click on the close button, since I also already have the close button. I think it's click on send. Hey, nice to meet you. Click on send. Okay, that's it. I thought we added another button, but I guess we didn't. So let's go in here, add some actions, go into the browser automation. We're gonna add a click. So we're gonna click link on web page, click download link, click link on web page. And we're gonna create a new UI element. So once we click on here, we are going to click on this button right here. All right, that didn't work. Let's try it one more time. Let's click on this and then control click on this. Let's see the element that was created. This SVG right here. This SVG unfortunately has a ID, which is going to make it pretty difficult to match. So, all right, let's keep this open and let's test this functionality and see if it is going to work. So by testing it, we're gonna see if this selector that I have pre-configured, it is going to work. I think it's this one right here. I'm not 100% sure. I think it might be on another page. Let's try. All right, first of all, let's save this and let's close it, because I'm sick and tired of it popping up in our stream. So let's close it and add here and test this again. Okay, so we are using a different browser. So let's just save this. Try again, click on test again, test, select this one. I think this one might be no. All right, let's get rid of one of these. And now we just have one. Okay. So let's close this again. Click on test. Test. Can we select the page? No, we are not selecting the right page. All right, this is getting a little bit annoying. Let's try one more time. So that's why it's important to have the right tabs on which you're working on only open. Now it's not connecting with the browser. Great. Let's just give it a try and see what happens. So if we cannot find the add node, we're going to go on the error things, and we're not going to go to the label. We are going to go to a new subflow. So we are going to, how do we do that? Go to next action. No, repeat an action. New rule, run subflow. Here we go, run subflow, an email, and that should do it. Continue flow run, and go to the next action. But we want to go to a next label and we want to skip everything. Let's see what this is going to do, if it's going to work, and then we'll kind of explain through it and see and see what's up, basically. All right, so here we are again on our page. We connected to everybody on our first page. We can't find anybody. We are going to exit our loop and then click on the next button. We click on the next button. We arrive to this individual right here. We should trigger our... No, it didn't work. So it didn't. So it looked like it found the button add a note. So let's close this. So there is a button add a note, and we can add a note also, and we can write it in. It's just that we cannot click on send. We have to click on this. So then in that case, instead of clicking on the send right here, we're going to go to on error, and we're going to add a new rule, run Subflow, and let's try it here. And if that is the case, let's see what else is going to happen. So we're going to close it, and yeah, just go to the next action. Seems fair. Let's give it one more try, and if not, we're going to try a different approach. All right, we're waiting. Let's see it click on the next button. All right. Okay, it should kind of add a note because the button is there. It should add the text because the text is there. The only thing that is not going to be there is going to be the send button, which is going to be disabled. It's not going to be able to click on it. Ah, no. The send button is there. Oh, this is so annoying. So, all right, so what is the issue? The send button is there. Oh, no. It worked. It actually worked, but I clicked on something else. So it did work. I think it's still going on. Let's see what happens. Yeah, but okay. But it gets stuck on this connect thingy. All right, pretty annoying. We're gonna deal with it. So let's click on well, first of all, let's stop our automation because it's starting to be a little bit annoying. Let's stop it. Let's see if anybody has any questions. Please shoot your questions my way. If you have any questions, please let me know and I'll try to answer them live in the chat. All right, so let's solve this issue. So what is the issue? The issue is with that connection. We can solve it in different ways. Let's first just add one of these pages and a breakpoint. Let's launch the browser and see what we are dealing with. If we can change things around, maybe not get that kind of connection or even skip that kind of connection. Now what happens if I click on second level connections and I go forward? I am going to encounter this individual. I'm going to encounter this individual as well. So director in generative AI, that's great, from Canada, and he wants you to be very annoying. All right, so we want to skip this. The best way of doing it is we have to change a little bit the logic of our automation. What do I mean? We have changed a little bit the logic of our automation. So right here in the connect button, we're clicking on the first and only connect that we see. And there's many different connects. So if we test this, let's test it. And again, we have multiple windows. Let's close one of the windows, like this one. Let's leave this one open, and I think that should do it. Let's click on test, select the right window, and Okay, so it connects, it finds the first button, but what we want to do is if we encounter an error like this guy and we click on connect, all of the buttons previously we would have connected, and our automation is just going to keep on clicking on the same thing, closing this, clicking on the same thing, closing this, and so on. So we have to tell the AI click on the first one, on the second one, on the third one, on the fourth one, on the fifth one, and so on. So there is a way of doing it, and that is by playing around with these ordinal values right here. Let's see if this is the right ordinal value. Now, if I select 4 right here and I click on test, let's see what is going to happen. Okay, so it is selecting a different value. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, however, it selected this one. So it's going from 0, 0, 1. Let's see if we select 0, it is going to click on the first one, 0. And if I click on 1, kind of, I think everybody gets it. I also want to be sure that we're doing the right thing. We click on the second one. So what do I need? I need a way that this value is going to change. Go from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 5, etc., etc. So in here, what are we going to do? We are going to click on this text editor and we're going to have the ability to write stuff in here. We're going to click on this X. This is the variables that we have produced in our flow. A little bit in a second, a little bit more about this, but here we're going to put the loop index. Loop index, if we go in the X right here, we're going to see that there is flow variables and we have 3 variables. Many actions, when you add them, like for example loops, they create a variable. A loop index is a value that helps you keep track in which cycle you are. You start from 0 to 5 and you go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. I mean, you repeat the stuff in here 5 times. In this case, you repeat it 10 times, and this, everything inside, you repeat it 5 times, including this. So all together, everything is done 50 times. So we have the loop index in the connect, so the connect should be dynamic, and click on the 0 one, on the 0, and then on the first one, and on the second one, and so forth. Now the only thing that we need to do is, in case we do this, and in case we have this issue right here, or we could do something even simpler maybe. Now let's look for this element right here. Now if I can find that element right here, I can tell the AI, if you find this element, then just close this window and let's go to the next action basically. So how can we do that? So let's see if we can wait for web page. Wait for if web page contains. We could use this. So click span connect, and then we wait for 2 seconds, and then we add if web page contains this element. Click UI element state enabled. No, we're just going to check if the element exists. Now we're going to add a new UI element, and we're going to add this input email right here. Click on save. Let's see in here the input email, if there's anything. Of course there must be something fishy about it. So we're going to do type email, and we're going to remove the ID and see if that is going to work. Not 100% sure, but let's test it. If it's fine, if it finds it, great for us. Maybe we have solved. Okay, fine, great. Maybe we have solved our issue. So then what we have to do is we have to take this closing thing. So if you find this, please close it, and then label, and then we can go to, is there something like go to? Yeah, we can, and then go to skip to the next thing. Let's see if this is going to work. All right, so Let's maybe add 2 seconds wait. All right, so we click on connect. Every time we click on connect, we're gonna check if the page has this. If it has it, we're gonna close it. We're gonna go to the next iteration of our loop. The connect is going to increment by 1 and all is going to be good. So let's remove this on errors. We don't need them anymore. We're just gonna continue. We're just gonna throw an error if we have an issue. And same here, clear everything, throw error, save, and same thing for this button over here. Clear everything, throw error, and save. Let's click on save. All right, so far so good. So let's see what is going to happen next. We've already tested it so far, it should click on the next button. Is it having an issue clicking on the next button after like so? Oh no, okay, all right, we had a breakpoint. So let's have it continue. So we know that it is going to be able to click on the next button. And then this guy again with his annoying, all right, we closed it. Let's see if we're gonna be able to click on the next connect button. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've basically built a bulletproof automation. This kind of automation would be really hard to build if we're doing it by code, or if we were even doing any kind of tools that are used for sending automations. So great job on you. If you have followed along, great. Now I'm going to take this code that I have built in the live stream today and I'm going to share it on the Discord channel. Now, if you don't have access to the Discord channel, I'll share a link to that as well. But you will find this code exactly as I have created it right now inside of the Discord channel. Let's just have it send 10 connections and see if it's going to go to the next page. And if it's, oh well, we see that it's skipping. One is doing and one it is not doing. So it's connecting to one person, not connecting to one person, connecting to one person, not connecting to one person. We can solve this as well, but this is not such a big deal because there is hundreds of pages that we can go through and connect. Now let's see if it's going to click on next again. All right, it has clicked on next. It clicks on the first one. I would really love to have a double monitor and see what is happening so I could debug it a little bit better and understand which steps are failing, which are continuing and exiting the loop and so forth. But I guess we managed just to do every second automation, but it's working fine. It's working even if we were to get an exception or if it would get stuck or something. And once our automation finishes, it is going to let us know, close the browser and pack up everything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty cool, right? So there is also many different ways that we can improve this automation, change it, adapt it, fine-tune it, and so forth. However, this is just a little bit of an introduction. I'm planning on doing more live streams like this, where I would also love for everybody else to share me their automations and give me their ideas of things that they want to automate. So one more time, let me get this code and show you how you can, after that, use this code for yourself. Now, to get a process from Microsoft Power Automate, all you have to do is Control A or select everything inside of the automation, like, yeah, click Control and A, and then you copy it. You go copy, you open Notepad, and you paste this gibberish code inside of Notepad. Now, once you open a blank Canva, look, I have nothing right here. And I'm going to take this gibberish code and I'm gonna paste it in here. And the process is going to appear just like on my screen with all of the different actions. So you might have to configure anything in here, like for example like these things, because it's looking for English text and other things. So like right here you might have to change the connect to your local language, but I think that's pretty much the only changes that you might have to do if your browser is not in English. So right here on the Discord channel we are going to create a new, I think I have already, Facebook LinkedIn group poster. No, we don't have, so we're gonna call it LinkedIn send messages, and we're gonna create a new channel. And how do I post this? I just have to put the text basically, I think. Yeah, I just have to put the text. So we're just gonna copy this and go to the send in here. Here is the code. Let's just make sure that we have everything. So make sure you download it and you open it, and let's see if it's going to work. I'm going to select everything here and paste the code that I just got. Okay, so seems to be working. So, ladies and gentlemen, RPA champions, thank you so much for being with me on this live stream. If you have enjoyed this kind of training, this format of interaction, learning Power Automate Desktop, yeah, shoot me a message, leave me some comments, let me know if this is the kind of videos that you would like to see more, and also most importantly let me know what kind of automations we should be building. And again, thank you so much. We've almost made it to 9,000 subscribers. I really cannot believe that. So again, thank you so much for watching my videos. I read your comments. I try to answer all of them, not with AI, even though it doesn't take much to create an AI that will answer all of the comments, but I think those comments, many of them are very useful and really great, and this is what it's all about. It's about sharing our knowledge, interacting, and talking with each other. So kind of social medias have become basically just platforms where they just stream content that the algorithm chooses for you without any interaction. So please, let's interact, let's build a community around automations and AI. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you had a great time. Again, thank you, and I will see you in the next stream. Have a great day.